In the vast landscape of your mind, stories unfold, narratives spun from the threads of your thoughts, weaving the reality you perceive. Imagine standing at the crest of a quiet mountain as dusk descends, your mind a canvas untouched by the chaos below. Here, the echoes of ancient wisdom whisper, "Perception is everything." To journey through life under the Stoic gaze is to sculpt this inner narrative with intention and awareness. Each chapter of your mental manuscript holds the power to transform shadows into guiding lights. Begin this serene journey inward, where words become allies and silence reveals truth. Let us embark on a journey within, exploring the profound landscapes of our inner world, where thoughts shape the narratives of our existence. The whispers we utter to ourselves weave the very fabric of our perceived reality. By unveiling this truth, we begin to understand the extraordinary power held within the narratives we cultivate internally. In the gentle embrace of Stoic wisdom, perception emerges as a potent force, reminding us that the world we experience is a tapestry woven by the mind. Marcus Aurelius, a beacon of Stoic philosophy, guides us with the insight that it is not the events themselves that disturb us, but rather the meaning we assign them. These interpretations birth emotional responses. Thus, by shifting our perception, we possess the ability to reshape our reality. In acknowledging our role as architects of our mental world, we embrace the freedom to respond consciously, abandoning reactive chains. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom. Control your internal dialogue, and you hold the compass to your experience. Embarking on a path of personal growth, our inward journey begins with this potent realization. Thoughts can either ensnare us in a narrative of fear, doubt, and bitterness, or they can illuminate a path of resilience and peace. The Stoics beckon us to see that reality, with all its complexity, is filtered through the lens of perception. Once we accept this narrative power, we transform into authors rather than mere spectators, inviting us to pause, assess, and reshape our thoughts to unlock potential within uncertainty and adversity. The narratives we choose dictate the emotional climate of our lives, marked either by storms of negativity or the calm of empowerment. This narrative, a self-crafted script, influences not only our interpretation of events, but also our decisions and self-perceptions. Often, unaware participants in this process, we adopt narratives imposed by past experiences, external voices, or societal pressures. By becoming aware of these narratives and consciously rewriting them, we hold the power to transform our lives from within. A single event holds countless stories. Our task is to select the one that fosters growth and authenticity. Through this endeavor, we extract lessons from failures, find strength in adversity, and perceive challenges as opportunities for transformation. This narrative is not a denial of life's hardships, but an acknowledgement of potential within each difficulty, a chance to mold a resilient self. By crafting a narrative of empowerment, we align our thoughts toward purpose, forging an inner foundation to carry us through trials and triumphs with grace. The narrative within us serves as the script for our existence, quietly guiding actions and reactions. It is essential to regard this script not as fixed, but as a dynamic manuscript, open to revision. As playwrights of our lives, the opportunity awaits to infuse narratives with meaning, resilience, and wisdom. Fixed identities or victimhood are mere illusions, binding us to static versions of ourselves. Questioning these scripts unveils the boundless potential for personal growth, Rewriting begins with introspection, an effort to comprehend the beliefs underlying our thoughts. It demands mindfulness, a keen awareness to confront the stories we tell. Through thoughtful reflection, harmful narratives transform into ones honoring our values. Liberation from limiting beliefs is a lifelong act of self-authorship, transforming us into characters of our stories, not passive observers. Through time, great philosophers have engaged in dialogues that challenge and inspire. Texts from Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, and teachings of Lao Tzu and Buddha offer themes of perception and purpose. These timeless narratives echo through history, highlighting the impact of inner dialogue. Crossing the boundaries of culture and tradition, these teachings reveal the universality of human struggles, reflecting concerns over sovereignty, resilience, and meaning. Engaging with these ancient voices draws us into a wellspring of wisdom, adding depth to the narrative we weave for ourselves. Interpreting the world is an art, demanding practice and refinement. It requires mastery of perspective, stepping beyond reactive thought to become conscious interpreters. This mastery forms the core of controlling the narrative within our minds. The shift between despair and hope, between mediocrity and potential, lies here. Through continuous practice, we observe invisible threads of growth woven into life's challenges. This mastery doesn't deny suffering, but views it as transformation catalysts. It builds emotional resilience, increasing empathy, realizing the enrichment of diversity in perspective. As narrators of experience, we possess the power to choose how we understand and portray our journey. To rewrite the script of our thoughts is an act of creative freedom, inviting a broader reality. Acknowledging narratives that serve no purpose and embracing courage to cultivate inspiring ones becomes our journey. This creative freedom fosters authentic expression and self-discovery, dismantling chains of limiting beliefs. It redefines not only who we are, but who we can become, embracing present moments as unwritten chapters ripe with potential. By transcending these automatic reactions, we cultivate conscious awareness, pausing to steer thoughts into intentional growth. This practice nurtures the mind into a garden of emotional resilience and purpose. Transformation resides in the space between stimulus and response. Stillness, a quiet power within the mind's operation, becomes a refuge from chaotic narratives. This silence, a meditative space, reframes thoughts, connects us with purposeful currents. Inner stillness invites us to detach from endless thought cycles, aligning wisdom within. Through stillness, clarity reveals which narratives serve growth, offering freedom to reshape dialogue with authenticity. Reflecting on internal narratives involves a journey through complex mindscapes. It requires courage to traverse terrains, examining beliefs and experiences. Navigating the inner landscape, reflection integrates past lessons with future aspirations. As we craft narratives, we deepen our appreciation for life's intricate dance, embracing unfolding stories with acceptance. The narratives we cultivate hold the power to shape perceived reality. Mastering internal narratives becomes a profound act of co-creating reality with intent. This interplay between worlds transforms interactions, ensuring greater empathy and fulfillment. As internal and external worlds harmonize, we stand as co-creators, living fully and embracing life's complexity with grace. The journey to control the narrative within becomes a sacred act of living intertwined with the universe's unfolding story. In the theater of our minds, there exists a fragile yet monumental distinction between victimhood and authorship. To live as a victim is to dance passively to the erratic tunes of life's unpredictable events, imagining them as colossal forces beyond our sway. Such a mindset, an intricately woven web of blame and stagnation, inhibits growth, casting shadows of helplessness over our conscious experiences. This is where the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius offers a luminous beacon. He reminds us of the realm that remains ours, the realm of our inner life. When we forsake the role of a passive observer, relinquishing the notion of fate as an unyielding script, we cease to merely exist at the mercy of unfolding circumstances. Instead, we begin to embrace the profound truth that although the tale of life unfolds with or without us, our interpretation of it can transform our existence. Stepping into the role of an author offers a celebration of empowerment and accountability. It is here, amid the calligraphy of imagination and reality, that we take charge, not of the uncontrollable events that color our days, but of the narrative we construct within. Rooted deeply in the teachings of Stoicism, we learn that while the tempest of life's external events may rage unbridled, our emotional response is our sanctuary, untouched and ours to design. By consciously curating this internal dialogue, we orchestrate a transformation, shifting from mere spectators to active architects of our lives. The journey from bystander to author demands intentionality and awareness, a mindful practice of introspection that guides us toward narratives imbued with resilience, growth, and purpose. With every thought, we wield the pen of creation, drafting a purposeful life from the ink of choices and values esteemed. An illuminating voyage into the self unfolds as we embrace internal power, realizing the kernel of true strength resides within, not in ephemeral validations of the external world. Delve into Epictetus's insight. It's not the external happenings, but our reactions that possess significance. Through this lens, the locus of control seamlessly transitions to the domain of self, forging paths for strength and resilience. A shift from being whisked away by the winds of chance to encountering life as a playground of growth arises, heralding a narrative that mirrors courage, resilience, and wisdom. Narrative authorship invites us on a profound quest of self-discovery and transformation. Here, courage meets the evaluation of inherited stories, those whispered by society, family, and past experiences. These dialogues, left unchecked, can solidify into limiting beliefs, veiling potential. Yet therein lies the art of conscious narrative reconstruction, where we withhold judgment and embrace self-awareness in its truest form. Inspired by existentialist thought, the conviction that our essence is defined through action and choice, we rewrite these tales, turning adversity into strength, setbacks into stepping stones. Reality is embraced, yet reinterpreted, so that each rewritten chapter reflects our core values. The cornerstone of authorship, self-awareness, is a gateway to liberation. Observing our thoughts and emotions with an open heart, free from judgment, unveils patterns binding us to scripts long outdated. In this mindful exploration, insight blossoms, steering us toward a narrative reflecting our true selves. Seneca's advocacy for daily self-reflection roots us in the practice of pausing and reviewing our experiences critically. Such examination enriches our lives with clarity and fosters choices guided by authenticity, enabling us to align our narrative with our deepest aspirations continuously. Slow down, grasp the art of mindful interpretation, and engage with the present moment. Existential wisdom ascertains that life's essence lies in imbuing it with meaning through conscious interpretation. Here we find the liberation to sculpt our narrative actively, discerning the truth of our perceptions that often cloud our initial judgments. By viewing the world through an altered lens, we anchor our stories in awareness and resilience, grounded in authenticity and truth. From reaction to creation, an evolution in the personal journey where intentionality supplants automatic patterns. Each moment becomes a canvas, portraying visions of self-authored narratives that transcend the boundaries of the present script. Amid curiosity, exploration, and occasional missteps, creativity invites us to transcend limits, shaping a legacy of love, vision, and intent. Harnessed alongside emotional intelligence, this endeavor becomes a dance of harmony between logic and feeling, informing narratives rich in empathy, fostering connections beyond oneself. Resilience stands as the steadfast pillar of an enduring narrative, seeing adversity not as a burden, but as an integral chapter. Inspired by Nietzsche's assertion that adversity forges strength, resilience is cultivated, enabling momentum in adversarial terrains. It is a recognition that within us lies the wellspring of strength necessary to transcend each fall, crafting a testimony to human courage. And finally, authorship with intentionality, a decree of authenticity and agency. Each action reflects our conscious choice, each word an embodiment of our values. The journey toward self-actualization manifests in deliberate living, consciously engaging with our destiny. Complacency is banished in favor of dynamic engagement, continuously harmonizing aspirations with life's realities. Therein, in the union of intention and action, we sculpt narratives that echo beyond self, etching purpose and integrity into the tapestry of existence. In the vast expanse of the mind, our thoughts meander like flowing streams, seeking their course through an ancient forest. These mental pathways, shaped over time by the repetition of thoughts, eventually become well-trodden roads in our cognitive landscape. When a thought is rehearsed incessantly, it transforms from a fleeting notion into a belief, staking its claim in the realm of our consciousness. Unchecked thoughts, akin to repeated chants, seduce the mind's attention, weaving their narratives into the fabric of our perceived reality. Such is the nature of beliefs. They rise from repetition, taking form as vanguards in our decision-making processes, casting shadows over perceptions and actions, thus perpetuating a cycle of confirmation bias. Caught in this loop, individuals reinforce their narratives, selectively noticing evidence that supports these ingrained beliefs while disregarding contradictions. This mental dance, alas, often distances us from objective reality, leading us closer to the echo chambers of our own making. Yet within this cycle lies a latent power. Repetition can be both a tool of entrapment and a means of liberation. As water wears away stone with time, repetition can also reshape and redefine even the most steadfast beliefs. Positive affirmations repeated with intent can bolster our confidence, whereas indulging in negative thoughts corrodes our sense of self-worth, seeding a toxic ground from which discontent grows. Realizing this hidden power is like wielding both a scalpel to refine and a sledgehammer to demolish unproductive belief systems. The art lies in precision and mindfulness, consciously selecting the thoughts we choose to nurture, while interrupting patterns that no longer serve us. Awareness acts as our compass, steering us through the rough seas of our mental habits and aligning our repetitive mantras with the truths we seek to embody. Awareness clears the fog of habitual thought cycles, illuminating the pathways our mind frequently travels and providing the opportunity to consciously redirect them. Awareness empowers choice, inviting us to recognize that the stories we narrate within are not immutable laws etched in stone. In the Stoic tradition, the scrutiny of judgments encourages space for only those convictions rooted in truth. This mindful consideration calls us to discard patterns that hinder and replace them with affirmations aligned with personal authenticity. As Carl Jung pointedly observed, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Awareness, then, is a lighthouse guiding us to reclaim authorship over our narratives, ensuring growth and resilience take precedence over stagnation. This journey of reprogramming requires more than the cessation of old tales. It demands the careful crafting of new ones. Mindful reflection stands as our ally, unveiling outdated narratives and replacing them with truthful and constructive beliefs through practices such as journaling, meditation, and dialogue. As this reflective practice becomes second nature, knee-jerk reactions morph into thoughtful responses, resetting the psyche to prioritize growth over repetitive patterns. Engaging in this conscious narrative acts as a beacon, ensuring that imagination and exploration lead where static repetition once inhibited. Cognitive flexibility, the mind's skill to adapt thoughts in response to new stimuli, breathes life into this process. It challenges the rigidity of established beliefs, replacing it with openness to growth and transformation. This adaptability is key to creativity and innovation, allowing the mind to dance with fresh ideas and perspectives rather than being tethered to the past. With newfound openness, wisdom emerges from diverse philosophies, illuminating paths beyond rigid conventions and into spaces where inner peace and grace can flourish. In cultivating a narrative of growth, we shift focus from static labels of identity to the vibrant potential of change. A story entwined with growth acknowledges limitations not as permanent walls, but as temporary hurdles meant for transcendence. Here lies the empowerment of Nietzsche's notion of becoming, framing life as a journey of constant evolution, where every challenge and response contributes to our personal evolution. Within such a narrative, failures become teachers, setbacks translators of resilience. Language, the palette of our inner artist, profoundly shapes these scripts by which we live. Both inner and outer dialogues frame our reality, anchoring experiences and shading perceptions with their tones. Mindful articulation, as the Stoics recognized, reflects and reinforces thoughts. By shifting the vocabulary from self-deprecation to affirmation, we construct pathways fostering empowerment. Language bridges the gap between perception and reality, inviting focus on what truly serves the soul's highest aspirations. In this tapestry of thought, where habits of mind are cultivated with intention, positive affirmation emerges as a gentle shepherd. It directs thoughts towards nurturing pathways, like a devoted gardener tends to their garden. Through daily engagement with affirmations that align with values, or in the simple acknowledgement of gratitude, a luminous foundation of positive thinking is established. This sacred habitual practice shields a resilient narrative, helping break free from unwanted patterns. To break free signals not an end, but a liberating beginning. Untethering from the narratives that have long held sway, we embrace the fluidity of thought, a return to the present, uninhibited by past echoes. In this space, the mind rekindles its alliance with creativity and wonder, no longer constrained but free to explore and expand. Reflecting the principles of Buddhist philosophy, this phase signifies a letting go, forging trust in the unfolding journey, unveiling the path to mastery over our stories, stepping boldly as conscious co-creators of our lives. Language gently weaves the fabric of our existence, serving as both vessel and compass in our pursuit of understanding. Each word carries the weight of emotions, intentions, and the reality it seeks to convey. When spoken, phrases like "I failed" resonate with a finality that feels like the closing of a door, a curtain drawn on potential. However, when we shift our perspective and say, "I learned," the narrative unfolds differently, revealing a path of growth and discovery. This transformation is not an evasion of failure, but an embrace of its lessons, allowing us to move forward with bridges built toward understanding and resilience. In this way, our chosen words construct the very world we navigate, shaping our reality as surely as a sculptor carves form from rough stone. In the quiet spaces of our minds, the stories we tell ourselves become the landscapes we inhabit. Negative self-talk often spirals into a self-fulfilling prophecy where whispers of "I can't" or "I'm not enough" build walls of doubt and hesitation. Yet there's a subtle power in shifting these narratives to ones of self-trust. Replacing doubt with phrases like "I am capable" and "I have what it takes" opens doors to empowerment, transforming potential constraints into opportunities for growth. This internal shift requires mindfulness, a willingness to challenge deeply ingrained beliefs, and the patience to nurture a dialogue of resilience and adaptability. Our word choice is an act of agency, a declaration of how we engage with life. By consciously choosing phrases like "I decide" or "I choose," we step into authorship of our own stories, moving from passive acceptance to active ownership. This powerful transition highlights the ability to influence our paths, placing emphasis on internal decision-making over external circumstances. Phrases that reinforce victimhood, like "this always happens to me," can be reframed to assert autonomy, such as "I will find a way." Thus, our words become the pen strokes with which we write our destinies. Emotions, complex and layered, are often defined by the language with which we interpret them. Describing a situation as frustrating limits our capacity to find insight, while framing it as a challenge to overcome invites growth. This reframing transforms emotional rigidity into an expansive landscape of curiosity and learning. Reflecting on our emotions in this way allows us to engage with them constructively, finding lessons in what initially seems like roadblocks, thus painting them as stepping stones toward personal evolution. The dialogue of purpose aligns our words with our values, where terms like priority and commitment reflect core guiding principles. Articulating purpose through language creates a narrative that aligns everyday actions with what truly matters, crafting a story of intention and fulfillment. Declaring commitments such as "my life is devoted to service" sets a blueprint for decisions and interactions, steering us towards a life that honors intrinsic values. In aligning our words with our deepest commitments, we ensure that the story we are writing is of a life lived with authenticity. While language is undeniably powerful, it can also limit if not chosen wisely. Expressions like "I can't" or "it's impossible" form barriers that confine potential within the limits of doubt. But by reimagining these phrases into "I'll try," we invite creativity and possibility to the forefront. This subtle craft in word choice expands our vision, bridging the gap between the aspirational and the attainable. In evolving our language, we dismantle the constraints of self-perceived limits, embracing the expansiveness of our vision. The words we choose to communicate within our communities have a profound impact on shared narratives. Language can unite or divide, inspire or misinform. It lays the foundation for collective reality. By consciously adopting language that fosters empathy and understanding, like "we can make this work," we cultivate a culture of support and unity. These words build communal bridges, prioritizing collective endeavors over individual pursuits, emphasizing that the narratives we share reflect a commitment to unity rather than division. Language subtly influences our subconscious, shaping beliefs and behaviors beyond our awareness. The words we repeat to ourselves and hear from others plant seeds within our minds, guiding perceptions and self-beliefs. Phrases like "you are valuable" or "you are not enough" linger in our subconscious, affecting choices and actions. By consciously cultivating a positive internal dialogue, we create a fertile ground for growth, replacing doubt with affirmations like "I deserve goodness," nurturing a wholesome inner narrative. In moments of setback, the language we choose can bolster resilience or deepen despair. Claiming "I'm ruined" resigns us to defeat, whereas "this is a setback, not the end," opens pathways of perseverance. By viewing mistakes as lessons, we foster empowerment and adaptability. To cultivate resilience, we must challenge defeatist narratives, fostering a mindset that sees adversity as integral to growth rather than a definitive end. This linguistic shift not only shapes our experiences, but also reflects the inherent strength we build within each spoken syllable. The journey of language is one of continual transformation, a progression where words adapt with our growth. Curating a transformative lexicon means engaging with life from a perspective of strength, clarity, and purpose. Through conscious choices in words, we redefine our limits, embracing the art of life's narrative as an endless series of possibilities. This art lies not in the story already told, but in inviting the future to unfold with the grace of well-chosen words. In the quiet moments of introspection, we come to recognize that our first thoughts often emerge from the ancient, primal corners of our mind. These initial impulses, born from instincts honed over millennia for survival, are quick to surface, charged with raw, unrefined emotion. They leap forth as if from the depths of an ancient forest, crafted more for immediate reaction than for the delicate nuances of modern life. This immediacy stems from the deep recesses of the amygdala, swiftly responding to imaginary threats rather than the true essence of present reality. And so, the wisdom of Stoicism invites us to a path of awareness, urging us to pause and reconsider before allowing these first thoughts to dictate our actions. Understanding the limitations of these primary impulses is crucial for detachment. Observing these spontaneous reactions without aligning with them grants us space to summon higher reasoning. Through the practice of this reflective pause, we interject a moment of clarity between stimulus and response, allowing wisdom to seep through. The Stoics remind us that these initial thoughts often fail to mirror reality, and questioning them before they influence our decisions is essential for nurturing emotional resilience. By detaching from the automatic grip of these base instincts, we learn to actively choose our responses, leading our lives with intent rather than reflex. Our immediate reactions often bear the indelible marks of cognitive biases, inherited mental shortcuts designed for quick decision-making, yet prone to distortion. Be it confirmation bias, where we gravitate towards information that fortifies our pre-existing beliefs, or projection bias, assuming that others mirror our inner world, these biases can cloud our mental landscape. As we become more aware of these subconscious influences, we begin to appreciate why they root themselves in our primal reactions, challenging the assumption that first thoughts are the most reliable or insightful. By distancing ourselves from these biases, a more just and considered approach to situations becomes possible. Slowing our thinking creates a canvas for balanced interpretations, much like an artisan sculpting a masterpiece. Each thoughtful pause a careful inspection of one's craft. Within the silence that lies beyond initial impressions, opportunities for profound recalibration lurk. Pondering the biases that color our perceptions, we open ourselves to a fuller understanding. This exercise in mindfulness extends our consciousness, freeing us from the automatic confines of instinct and guiding us toward the spaciousness of self-discovery. Central to the Stoic way is mastering the pause, a powerful gateway between thought and action that suspends time itself. This pause is a call not to inaction, but to the discerning evaluation of what is real versus the illusions our mind conjures. It affords us the luxury of dissecting our instinctive reactions and choosing which thoughts to expand or release. In this suspended instant, clarity emerges, allowing us to engage with our thoughts with intention and creativity, cultivating an inner landscape of tranquility amid life's ceaseless chaos. Evaluating initial thoughts requires a disciplined inquiry into what is illusion and what rings true. By examining the emotions and beliefs framing our perceptions, probing questions naturally ensue. What evidence can support these thoughts? Or is this more of an emotional reflex than a logical deduction? Through this scrutiny, we illuminate the core assumptions that shape our narrative and dispel the distortion of our immediate impressions. This process is akin to uncovering a sculpture from stone, chiseling away falsehoods to reveal the truth beneath. Living aligned with our values, we learn which thoughts to nurture, ensuring they harmonize with our truest self. Our core values become a guiding compass, shaping our narrative's journey. This alignment may require relinquishing anger, embracing courage over timidity, or choosing generosity over resentment. Thoughts thus chosen become fertile seeds for future action, influencing not only our internal world, but also impacting our outer reality. Beyond simply reacting, we transcend to a realm enriched by reflection and empathy, where wisdom emerges not from the survival of the wittiest thought, but the cultivation of a compassionate understanding of self and others. Second thoughts rise like refined blooms of humanity, empowering growth beyond primal inclinations toward an existence of enriched response. This evolution, from reaction to response, echoes a journey toward thriving, not merely surviving, exemplifying philosophical maturity and existential enlightenment. As curiosity replaces reactivity, we enter an exploration of our inner and outer worlds, unencumbered by immediate judgment. Curiosity becomes the vessel for discovery, leading us beyond superficial judgments to deeper truths, much like an explorer venturing into the uncharted. With curiosity, we dismantle the barriers forged by rote reactions, propelling us to wisdom and growth while painting our narrative in a rich palette of thoughtful understanding. Embracing setbacks as opportunities, we transform perceived failures into stepping stones for growth, aligning with the Stoic principle of amor fati, the love of one's fate. Recognizing each challenge as fundamental to our development, sharpens our resilience and fortitude, seeing obstacles not as defeats, but as training grounds for character enhancement. Finally, within the silence between thoughts lies a profound potentiality, a place of sanctuary from the cacophony of our inner dialogue. By stepping into this silence, we reconnect with our true essence, unburdened by the noise and haste of reactivity. Here, we craft a narrative not driven by compulsion, but infused with choice, where clarity and insight can flourish. Through this transformative process, we build a thoughtful legacy of intention and authentic alignment, echoing through time as a testament to our mindful journey beyond the weakest thought. The inner dialogue we carry within us is the foundation of our identity, casting shadows and light on our beliefs, actions, and interpretations. It's a quiet force, often unnoticed, yet it plays a symphony that directs our journey through life. When this narrative is gentle and empowering, it becomes a shield, guiding us with resilience and strength in adversity. Crafted with care, it reflects the discipline and ethos of a seasoned warrior, cutting through the noise of negativity and doubt. Echoing the teachings of Epictetus, our perceptions, rather than events themselves, shape our reality. A positive inner story helps us navigate life's complexities with wisdom and calm. Yet, in contrast, should this inner dialogue turn dark, it transforms into a relentless critic, probing our insecurities and breeding self-doubt, a poison seeping into thoughts, painting failures and inadequacies. Unchecked, this narrative can become a self-fulfilling prophecy of despair. Michel de Montaigne wisely noted that our opinions, rather than events themselves, have the power to harm us. To rise above victimhood, it's essential to cultivate a narrative of growth and healing, acknowledging the narrative's potential to be either a weapon against life's challenges or a wound that deepens struggles is vital. Cultivating a strong narrative is a journey requiring ongoing self-awareness and deliberate thought. By consciously choosing words and beliefs that build confidence, we forge a story supporting our development and tenacity. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to focus on what we can control, a principle profoundly relevant to the narratives we craft in our minds. Through this lens, obstacles transform from barriers to opportunities for growth, simply by reframing our narrative. Replacing "I can't do this" with "I am learning to overcome this" subtly shifts our mental orientation from defeat to potential. This dialogue, not only propelling us to action, also equips us with resilience to persist through setbacks. Embracing failure as a step toward mastery enriches our narrative. Acknowledging life's impermanence, as seen in Buddhist teachings, encourages flexibility in our internal script, enhancing resilience. Narratives that wound often stem from past traumas, societal conditioning, or misguided beliefs. They loop incessantly, reaffirming negativity and limiting beliefs. As existentialists like Sartre taught, these narratives are constructs of our own making, open to modification or dismissal. Realizing this unveils a transformative moment, recognizing the narrative is not truth, but an interpretation, shaped by past experiences and biases. Unraveling a wounding narrative requires recognizing its existence and origin. This introspective journey, akin to unraveling a tightly wound ball of yarn, is both tedious and necessary for clarity. Journaling offers profound exploration, unearthing subconscious beliefs, sustaining our wounding narratives. Bringing these belief systems into awareness begins the healing process, setting the stage for transformation. Engaging with life with purpose demands embracing a narrative aligned with core values. Nietzsche proposed that finding meaning, especially through struggles, grants us the fortitude to endure. Identifying purpose adds layers to our narrative, guiding interpretations toward fulfillment. When our story is interwoven with purpose, each chapter testifies to our journey toward becoming. Clarifying purpose requires reflection and introspection, aligning daily practices with long-term aspirations, identifying what truly matters, and ensuring our narrative resonates with this alignment. A purposeful narrative acts as a compass, guiding thoughts and actions. Meditation and silence facilitate this alignment, creating space for contemplation and self-discovery. Thus, we craft not just an internal dialogue, but a narrative that propels us toward our highest potential. Transformative practices guide us in rewriting our inner narratives, fostering growth, resilience, and wisdom. Mindfulness cultivates present-moment awareness, helping us observe thoughts without judgment, creating space to choose wiser narratives. Meditation, journaling, and gratitude exercises deepen our connection with our inner selves, bridging the gap between external circumstances and internal interpretations. Consistent engagement with these practices empowers control over our narrative, choosing responses rooted in wisdom. Transformation unfolds over time, reinforcing a narrative of empowerment, choice, and awareness. Unearthing truths buried beneath societal conditioning and experiences is a powerful step in crafting a thriving narrative. It involves peeling back layers to reveal the authentic self beneath. Carl Jung emphasized integrating shadow aspects to achieve wholeness. By confronting these hidden aspects, we free ourselves from constraining narratives and embrace acceptance and liberation. Self-discovery involves distinguishing between the conditioned self and the genuine self, appreciating identity's complexity and fluidity. This insight enhances crafting an internal dialogue mirroring our authentic essence, diminishing the gap between who we are and who we aspire to be. As we uncover truths, our narrative shifts from superficial concerns to profound insights, fostering depth and authenticity. We become architects of inner coherence, weaving a narrative grounded in truth, acceptance, and freedom. Acceptance serves as a potent remedy for healing wounding narratives. It involves embracing life's impermanence, imperfections, and experiences without resistance. A narrative built on acceptance is infused with humility and strength, a sanctuary amid storms. As Buddhism teaches, accepting what is without attaching undue suffering liberates us from self-inflicted narratives of pain. Through acceptance, we approach experiences with curiosity instead of resistance, transcending suffering by acknowledging each experience's contribution to life's tapestry. Coupled with compassion, acceptance fosters a narrative of understanding. Seneca reflected that a gem is polished through friction, as humans are through trials. Incorporating acceptance transforms our narrative into a vessel of peace, rich with wisdom and empathy. Our minds have an innate tendency to create stories, imbibing events with meaning. Recognizing the mind's storytelling nature opens doors to consciously authoring empowering stories. Engaging with storytelling capabilities allows transformation from passive recipients to active creators. Cultivating discernment invites exploration of narratives, allowing experimentation with different interpretations. Joseph Campbell's exploration of the hero's journey reminds us each individual is the hero of their own story, with agency to shape destiny. Viewing minds as storytellers harnesses creativity to craft narratives that heal and inspire, casting us as heroes. Reclaiming narrative authority asserts ownership over stories influencing our lives. Recognizing agency as a fundamental choice in thought and response is essential. Hermetic teachings suggest surpassing deterministic thought, aligning with greater intelligence within. Reclaiming narrative authority requires courage to face discomfort, challenging patterns, dismantling hierarchical structures, and seeking validation within. This reclamation process resembles returning home, resurrecting narratives aligned with intrinsic values and truths, emerging empowered, authoring a legacy of healing and transcendence. Inner harmony, the ultimate goal of a crafted narrative, harmonizes mind, heart, and spirit. It involves weaving narratives, reflecting aspirations, nurturing connections with ourselves and the world. Harmony, imbued with understanding and resilience, fosters a meaningful existence. Thich Nhat Hanh taught that understanding and compassion create harmony within ourselves and in interactions. The journey toward inner harmony requires self-reflection and narrative refinement. Balancing acceptance with determination, vulnerability with courage, and solitude with connection fosters a sanctuary of inner harmony. Here, our narrative transcends as a melody of wisdom, compassion, and peace, resonating through our souls. Envision your mind as a garden, where every thought planted and nurtured blossoms into reality. Much like our bodies thrive on nourishing food, our minds flourish when fed with thoughtful, meaningful content. Imagine the unchecked mental diet as a field overrun with weeds of distractions, fear, and negativity, a path leading to a soul's malnourishment, akin to poor physical health from junk food. Recognizing this, the ancient Stoics, wise as ever, implored us to be vigilant about what we allow into our mental sphere, urging us toward wisdom, logic, and virtue. This intentional mental discipline parallels choosing balanced nutrition for the body, fortifying and stabilizing your inner world, and preparing you for life's inevitable storms. In our modern age, where information bombards us at every turn, we face an incessant deluge of content, ranging from enlightening to toxic, its influence often subtle yet profound. It is vital to be discerning as you cultivate an environment ripe for learning, growth, and tranquility. By filling your mind with thoughts rooted in truth and inner strength, you forge resilience against tumultuous external forces. This chapter invites you to delve deeply into the art of mental discipline, guiding you to filter out the noise and nurture a mind harmonized with your higher purpose. Such intentional mental cultivation emerges as a cornerstone for a life rich in fulfillment and direction. Just as our bodies metabolize food, transforming it into energy, so too our minds process the intellectual and emotional sustenance they receive. Unlike physical consumption, where effects manifest visibly, mental absorption works more subtly, yet leaves a profound imprint. When your mind absorbs constructive reflections, it naturally aligns with a narrative that fosters growth and resilience. Words, akin to nutrients, seep into your psyche, subtly steering your life's journey. By discerning which thoughts edify and which diminish, you can refine your mental metabolism to favor those that enhance well-being. This process of building and understanding mental metabolism is grounded in self-awareness and reflective practice. As you keenly observe how various inputs affect your mind and emotions, you gather insights essential for crafting a potent internal narrative. Awareness transcends mere avoidance of negativity. It is the pursuit and repetition of thoughts that uplift and empower. Regularly feeding your mind, enriching content, creates a virtuous cycle where wisdom begets clarity, and clarity begets peace. Through this disciplined practice, you determine not only what you think, but also how you interact with the world around you. Perceive your mind as a sacred space, a sanctuary that mirrors the content it absorbs. Just as you carefully select the people you welcome into your life, so should you curate the influences that shape your thoughts. In essence, this practice is an art of mental design, a deliberate selection of influences resonating with your values and aspirations. Examine the media, conversations, and ideas that weave the fabric of your daily existence. Acknowledge the sway they hold over your emotions and perceptions, questioning whether they align with the story you aspire to craft. Much like a cluttered room leads to distraction, an unchecked mind invites unnecessary turmoil. By imposing structure and eliminating chaos, by granting yourself moments of solitude and silence, you permit the whispers of true intention to emerge. Construct an environment where your mind engages deeply and meaningfully, fostering a profound inner dialogue rich with virtues like wisdom, patience, and courage. Engaging in the practice of discernment when feeding your mind transcends simple filtering. It demands active engagement and contemplation of the content that resides within. Similar to a careful shopper evaluating each product, your ability to discern allows you to either embrace or cast aside ideas based on their merit, truthfulness, and alignment with personal principles. As you exercise this discernment, you take control of your mental nourishment, consciously selecting what nurtures growth. This mindful practice involves questioning the origins, intentions, and potential impacts of your thoughts. Are they rooted in fear or empowerment? Do they steer you toward authenticity, or do they distract, leading you astray? By sharpening your capacity for discernment, you become the steadfast guardian at the gates of your mind, ensuring only the most constructive influences enter. This cultivated resilience prepares you for life's inevitable challenges, evolving as a skill honed over time, with each decision reflecting a profound commitment to uphold your inner truth, shaping a narrative that draws you closer to the self you aspire to be. The interplay of emotions and thoughts forms the core of our mental landscape. Feeding your mind nurturing thoughts becomes essential for cultivating emotional resilience, much as nourishing foods support physical vitality. Often considered an innate trait, resilience is cultivated and fortified through consistent mental nourishment. Embrace practices that immerse you in wisdom, inspirational narratives, and philosophies advocating courage, compassion, and acceptance. As these profound insights take root within, they weave a safety net, cushioning life's inevitable falls. Such nourishment empowers you to process emotions wisely, embracing their role in human experience without succumbing to overwhelm. This approach isn't about silencing negativity, but transforming it into a catalyst for profound growth. Integrating nourishing thoughts into your mental routine expands emotional capacity, allowing you to face uncertainties with poise and strength, reinforcing a personal narrative woven with resilience and inner peace. In life's intricate tapestry, the journey from reaction to reason begins with a pause, that sacred moment of stillness akin to the lull between ocean waves, where silence grants us the luxury of introspection. Here, we aren't merely delaying response, but creating a conscious space to allow emotions to settle, much like storm-tossed silt revealing clear waters beneath. This pause becomes the Stoic's ally, as it empowers us to evaluate our immediate thoughts, nudging us gently from the realm of reflex into the sanctuary of reflection. Amidst the cacophony of life, this pause nurtures the wise and extinguishes the rash. It is not an evasion, but a reprieve, a gift that separates us from the undisciplined chatter of an impulsive mind. By leaning into this quiet moment, we allow reason to flourish over reaction, crafting responses that reflect our core values rather than transient chaos. This is the gateway to inner wisdom, where intuition finds common ground with rationality, harmonizing our inner world with clarity and purpose. Emerging from the pause, we engage in rigorous inquiry, navigating our psyche with the keen eye of a philosopher. We delve into our thoughts, questioning their utility and truthfulness, a vital shift from emotion-driven action to logic-steered reflection. This practice transforms us, urging our inner narratives to withstand scrutiny. Like a master craftsman, feeling the grain of the wood before carving, our actions are intentional, not wasteful, honing an intellectual resilience that deflects the surging tides of raw emotion. In numerous ways, our inner stories are crafted through emotional storytelling, the dominating narratives we unwittingly compose from the tapestry of past emotions and experiences. By recognizing these scripts, we transcend the blurred lines between reality and perception, acknowledging their transient nature and opening them to revision. Reason's light dismantles these oft-exaggerated tales, spun from bliss or bitterness, liberating us to pen narratives grounded in authenticity, untethered by our emotional history. The science of thought patterns reveals that our neural pathways solidify through repetition, much like a well-traveled forest path. Understanding this neural architecture unveils our responses as less conscious choices and more habitual engravings. Here lies the power of change, the revelation and utilization of neuroplasticity, whereby we can cultivate new paths defined by reason and calm reflection. Through mindfulness and self-awareness, we weaken unproductive thought patterns, replace them, and fortify new ones aligned with deeper intentions. Detachment, a cherished Stoic principle, becomes our guiding force, granting us mastery over responses by separating emotional currents from the events themselves. Standing on a riverbank, observing its flow without diving into its depths exemplifies this practice. Watching emotions pass with grace, recognizing them as temporary specters. Detachment permits us the clarity to prioritize what's essential, fostering tranquility and thoughtful engagement. True personal growth does not suppress emotion. It refines emotional mastery, balancing heart and mind like a conductor orchestrating a symphony. Emotions, far from being suppressed, are messengers, insights to be honored, but not dominated by. As we acknowledge them, we integrate them with reason, steering our lives with a harmonious cadence that appreciates both empathy and wisdom. This symbiotic relationship directs emotional energy towards outcomes that uplift and inform without dictating our path. Our journey to cognitive calmness is further encouraged by mindful reflection, a deliberate practice of introspection akin to a pond reflecting the sky. We allow thoughts and emotions to surface without judgment, thus untangling emotional knots and fortifying our ability to remain centered amidst life's vicissitudes. With this practice, we craft thoughtful decisions arising from true comprehension rather than impulsive actions, paving our path with reflective clarity. To root our journey in liberation, we reconstruct narratives that frame our experiences, transforming stories of constraint into tales of freedom. By challenging pre-existing scripts with analytical rigor, we shed self-imposed limitations and awaken the sculptors within us. Questioning the validity and origin of these mental stories allows us to rewrite them, liberating us from past paradigms that hinder growth. We affirm our place as architects of our destiny, reshaping internal dialogues to herald a new chapter of empowerment. Inner wisdom emerges as the enduring fruit of a reasoned mind, a testament to our journey through the storm. It is born from an artful blend of emotion and reason, coalescing into a legacy nurtured by thoughtful living. This wisdom, like a might oak, deeply rooted and resilient, informs our approach to life's unpredictability, extending grace and stability to every crevice of existence. As we embody this wisdom, we inspire others, sharing the transformative allure of a reasoned perspective woven into the vast continuum of human experience. This transformative pursuit of reason over reaction is an odyssey without end, defined by ongoing progress rather than finite arrival. It enriches our lives, carving a path through the intricate landscape of existence, revealing profound beauty in an attuned mind. As we traverse this journey, we strengthen the bond between emotion and reason, inspiring collective awakening. In embracing this continuous journey, we partake in the timeless discovery of wisdom, nurturing a legacy that echoes through the ages. In the vast theater of existence, perspective acts as the director of our life story. It's not just the lens through which we view the world, it is the very stage upon which our experiences unfold. Every interaction, every moment, is colored by perception, influenced by the hues that either enhance or diminish its significance. The ancient Stoics remind us that every occurrence in life is inherently neutral, and it is our perspective that assigns value. As Epictetus profoundly said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This insight encapsulates the essence of reframing, the ability to reinterpret life's inevitable challenges as opportunities for growth rather than causes of despair. Reframing is not an act of deception. It is a conscious choice, a shift from being a passive observer to becoming the author of our story. When adversity strikes, the natural impulse is to yield to immediate emotional responses like frustration, fear, or anger. These reactions, while instinctual, stem from unchecked narratives that seldom serve our higher purpose. By deliberately altering how we perceive these moments, we exercise sovereignty over our internal landscape, ensuring that life's trials become catalysts for resilience. In this art of reframing, the ordinary transforms into the profound, the mundane becomes the sacred. Setbacks are inevitable, appearing as insurmountable obstacles that cast shadows over dreams. Yet, the Stoic mind views setbacks as stepping stones, each an invitation to step higher and see farther. Marcus Aurelius, ruling a vast empire under the constant threat of war, framed each challenge as a chance to practice virtue and refine character. Through setbacks, we align with a timeless truth. Progress is never linear. The path to fulfillment is adorned with trials that test our resolve. Each setback carries the seed of transformation, nurtured by a mind that sees beyond immediate pain. This outlook empowers us to meet setbacks with gratitude, recognizing them as essential elements of the human journey. Patience is a celebrated virtue, both an art and a discipline in the context of reframing. To reframe effectively requires quieting the mind, stepping back from the whirlwind of immediate reactions. Patience offers the space to process experiences fully, sifting through the initial haze of emotion to glimpse the underlying truths. This pause bridges the gap between impulse and intention, offering clarity in moments clouded by uncertainty. Seneca reminds us to understand that all things are as they should be, inviting us to hold our judgments in abeyance and allowing time for reflection to reveal deeper narratives. Language constructs our inner world, shaping narratives about ourselves and our experiences. Each word is a brick in the edifice of our identity, building or breaking down the stories we weave. The Stoics were acutely aware of this power, advising caution in both spoken and unspoken language. Words influence perception, infusing moments with meaning that can enlighten or imprison us. Reframing begins with refining our internal language. Transforming "I failed" into "I discovered a new path" shifts the narrative from defeat to opportunity. By adjusting our language, we rewrite our life scripts, ensuring our inner dialogue serves as a foundation for empowerment. Emotions are potent forces, capable of propelling us forward or holding us prisoner. The Stoics invite us to practice emotional alchemy, transforming raw emotional reactions into measured responses. Emotional alchemy involves acceptance without judgment, paving the way for deeper introspection and allowing us to understand and reframe underlying narratives. This transformation shifts the emotional landscape, using the energy of our emotions to fuel growth and understanding. Reframing involves the intimate dance with detachment. Learning to release our grip on preconceived notions allows new perspectives to emerge. Detachment does not imply indifference. It's about liberation from limited thinking, creating space for understanding to blossom. By loosening attachment to specific outcomes, we explore interpretations obscured by rigid expectations. Practicing detachment, we cultivate a mindset that views change as an ally in our journey of growth. At the heart of reframing lies self-compassion. Without kindness toward ourselves, the narratives we attempt to reframe may remain harsh. Self-compassion invites a gentle curiosity into our inner world, acknowledging imperfections without judgment. Incorporating self-compassion involves treating our inner dialogue as a conversation with a dear friend, encouraging narratives of strength and endurance. This perspective shifts focus from self-criticism to self-acceptance, creating fertile ground for reframing. Central to reframing is gratitude, which transforms perception by accentuating abundance within the present moment. Even amid adversity, gratitude reveals hidden lessons and blessings, reinforcing life's narrative with hope. The daily practice of gratitude enhances reframing by cultivating a mindset attuned to recognizing opportunity amidst challenge. Gratitude acts as a guiding light, illuminating paths of possibility. Each act reinforces an openness to reframing, fostering a life rich in wisdom. Ultimately, the power to reframe is a choice, an act of conscious will to redefine our relationship with the world. This choice empowers us to navigate life with intention, acknowledging our role in crafting stories. Choosing to reframe, we relinquish the role of victim and embrace that of creator. It demands courage to confront entrenched beliefs and challenge familiar thought patterns, embodying resilience and adaptability. Embracing the choice to reframe, we declare commitment to personal growth and the journey of self-discovery, sculpting a narrative reflecting our highest aspirations and deepest truths. In the heart of life's chaos, the mind can stand as either a fortress or a theater, its strength defined by the scripts we choose to write. Picture your mind like a well-guarded bastion, resilient against the tempestuous waves that external turmoil often brings. This fortress, fortified by the discerning wisdom of cultivated thoughts, stands tall and unyielding. In contrast, a mind like a theater is swayed by the whims of perception, its drama dictated by external narratives and distractions. The true power lies in realizing that we are not mere spectators. We are the architects of our mental edifice. By consciously crafting the tales we spin within, we command the tone of our lives, choosing whether our minds echo with anxiety-laden whispers or hum with the calm chant of resilience. Thus begins the art of transforming the mind into a stronghold where silence, reflection, and intentional narrative empower us against life's chaos. The narrative within is a living manuscript, ever evolving through our experiences and introspections. Mindfulness becomes vital here, a spacious point wherein thoughts and emotions are observed without judgment, distinguishing transient turbulence from sincere truth. Recognizing the sovereignty within ourselves unlocks an understanding. The narrative we uphold is not merely a reaction to the external world, but a crafted creation of our inner sanctuary. This sanctuary endures and thrives amid adversity, illuminating truth amid the shadows of uncertainty. The fortress metaphor shines brightly as it symbolizes the vital qualities of strength, protection, and resilience. Constructing such a bastion involves several layers, each representing aspects of self-awareness and regulation. The foundation lies in self-knowledge, a profound understanding of one's values, strengths, and vulnerabilities, which delineates boundaries and fortifies against intrusions that seek to disturb our peace. By defining what enters the precincts of our mind, thoughts, beliefs, values, we reinforce its walls with deliberation and wisdom. Knowing oneself thus stands as the first line of defense, offering the clarity and focus needed to withstand life's challenges. Upon this foundation arise the bastions of purpose, discipline, and gratitude. Purpose steers us through the chaos, serving as a guiding star. Discipline crafts the routine and order that sustain the mind's strength, acting as a diligent sentinel guarding against the complacency that erodes fortitude. Gratitude, then, gilds the mind's interior with peace and satisfaction, transforming adversity into lessons and opportunities. By nurturing these elements, we create a robust structure, a sanctuary where the mind can retreat to restore, plan, and prosper, encapsulated from the capricious scripts of the external environment. The mortar binding this fortress is the practice of inner silence, a mindful state that synthesizes thoughts and emotions without interference. Cultivating silence involves meditative practices, deep breathing, and mindful observation, each serving to deepen concentration and dispel the clamor of anxiety. Through this silence, the mind aligns with clarity and purpose, reminded of its core strength, undisturbed by the external chaos. This practice encourages patience and acceptance, essential for sustaining the fortress amidst enduring challenges. Listening, truly listening, becomes a profound act within this silence, revealing a dialogue not burdened by panic or fear, but enriched by reassurance and wisdom. It is a compass guiding us through turbulent seas with confidence and courage. Inner silence is not the end of dialogue, but the beginning of a constructive conversation with oneself, a nurturing environment where resilient narratives root and flourish, sheltered from the noise that distorts truth. Emotional resilience, akin to a fortress wall's sturdiness, proves its worth in times of strife. It is the capacity to recover from difficulty, anchored in emotional intelligence. Much like training muscles, we strengthen this resilience through experience, understanding, and managing emotions. By recognizing emotions as signals rather than dictators, we gain perspective, interpreting and responding meaningfully from a place of self-awareness. This includes understanding the transient nature of emotions, acknowledging that pain and pleasure, loss and gain are parts of the human experience. Challenges, when faced and overcome, heighten our capabilities, fostering courage and confidence in our narrative. At the heart of this mental fortress stands self-control, a powerful sentinel upholding the mind's sovereignty against impulsive urges and distractions. Self-control allows us to align actions and words with long-term intentions and values, acting as a gatekeeper to discern and decide what thoughts deserve to be entertained. This skill diminishes external influences, maintaining our inner peace. Emulating Stoic self-control, mindful restraint is about selecting thoughts and actions that align with our higher self. Much like a well-maintained fortress, self-control prevents the mind's fortification from crumbling under neglect. Persistence in practicing self-control, setting intentions, making conscious choices, and reflecting on outcomes fosters continuous improvement, securing the fortress's walls with precision and dignity. Thus, our inner narrative remains resilient, transforming our mind into a steadfast stronghold in life's unpredictable storms. As you journey through this life, may you find within yourself the strength to forge a fortress of resilience. And should you find value in our reflections here, consider liking and subscribing for more.